Hello, welcome back to our midweek
Yes.
video.
A midweek special.
Midweek special, yes. So,
Let's look quickly back on how did we do in our last predictions.
yeah, I think think we got them all right.
I think all right. Yep.
all
yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, perfect.
Except for a few little ones like Liverpool not drawing against City.
Yeah, I got that right. I said that City would win by 3 goals.
I thought Leicester might win. Sorry, Brendan. Cost you the job. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a lot of sackings during the week. Brendan Rodgers, you could see coming.
Yep.
I'm surprised actually they didn't move during the international break.
Did they leave it a bit late?
Yeah. Obviously, Graham Potter was going to go anyway. I think it just didn't seem to be a match at all.
No.
You know.
But I tell you what, it wouldn't be a bad manager for Leicester.
Yes, maybe so. Yeah, like he's good at the old defensive side of things.
He's good at the defensive and working with players. I think that having these inflated egos, he's probably not so good at. But there'll be lower expectations at Leicester, and he could build them up again.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's because it is being there's no. They have the attacking threat. It's their defense, and they've got some good players in there as well, like defensive midfielders who just haven't been performing. So yeah, watch that space.
Anyway, but so we've got the midweek games, and really it's a focus again on the relegation zone, which is a very exciting matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we spoke about it before that there's only like 3 or 4 points between 20th and like 12th. So there's any team.
Yeah, any one win and they're up, but then we'll talk about these midweek games. Teams get sucked back in because no one's putting 3 or 4 wins on the trot.
Yeah, and well, one team that did have a win at the weekend was Bournemouth. Very good win against Fulham, and now they're playing Brighton, informed Brighton team.
Yeah, well, Brighton had a very entertaining draw themselves against Brentford.
One of the games of the season against Brentford.
3-3. Brilliant. So I'll go first. Bournemouth got a much needed 3 points.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of what I said there. No, a team is not really building the momentum to really pull out of this dogfight. And I think Brighton will come away with 3 points here. Bournemouth will just keep back in that, hovering in that relegation fight by losing this one. Why do I think it? I just think the attacking threats of Brighton. I think that it suits them when they play away from home to be more on the counter. Bournemouth will push by their victory from Fulham. But Fulham, without their manager and without Mitrovic, I think after that implosion,
they were sulking a little bit.
They are sulking. They're Brighton will be up for this one.
Yeah, and dark horses for top 4.
Yes.
A lot of teams are not really on form. United, Tottenham.
I'm more inclined to say a Europe spot for Brighton is definitely on. Top 4 might be a bit of a stretch at this stage, but
they're unbeaten in their last 6 away. They've only failed to score in 1 out of their 14 away games, so they will score against maybe not very strong Bournemouth defense. But in the last 10 away games, they haven't kept a clean sheet.
Yeah.
So they do concede as well. So they've got an attacking style of play. And I think that I agree with you. I think there'll be too much for Bournemouth in this one. I think they'll outscore them.
Yeah.
Bournemouth have no team has faced more shots in the Premier League than Bournemouth. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Brighton win in this one. I think Bournemouth as well will feel like we got 3 points in the last game.
Exactly. I think that just takes that pressure. They kind of they don't push on. Most teams don't. We'll see this later when we talk other teams.
Yeah. Now we spoke before about how Bournemouth, they just get the 3 points now and then. They don't draw many games.
They don't.
And those wins are like
they're valuable.
Yeah, that takes us to the next game against Leeds and Forest. Forest are a team that kind of draw. They don't kind of get the wins.
Yeah.
They're winless in their last 7.
Yeah, but they've had a lot of draws in that 7. I bet you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So that's why they're still in the relegation fight, because they're not getting the 3 points. Yeah. And I don't expect them to get 3 points here. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Leeds at home. I mean, Forest have the worst away record in the Premier League.
There we go.
They've
Mr. Stat tells you.
Yeah, the joint fewest away points. Probably Bournemouth the same. Only 6 points away. Only 4 goals scored away all season. That's a damning statistic. And they've lost their last 3 away. So Leeds, I mean, they were unlucky against Arsenal.
In the
first half.
Arsenal are there up in the top.
Leeds should have been a goal up. they had 2 great chances to score against Arsenal in the first half. The same for Palace against Arsenal as well, too, before that. And Garcia has steadied the ship a little bit, and there's a little bit of identity about them now. Jack Harrison has kind of found form under this new guy, so I'm expecting Leeds to win at home. Forest won't fancy going up Elland Road.
I'd agree with that.
Midweek game as well under the lights.
Midweek game, Elland Road.
Yeah.
Forest battle and draw against Wolves. I think they were leading and Wolves equalised.
Yeah, very unlucky. Yeah, I reckon that one.
But as I say, it keeps that relegation fight interesting.
Yeah.
I predict Leeds to get 3 points and closes that gap again. Forest and Bournemouth both getting points.
Exactly.
They'll be pulled back into it.
That's it. There's talk about Cooper losing his job, but I think that would be a very bad thing to do.
No.
Forest are just hanging on. I think he's a big reason with what the players they've had.
They're trying to, seen with Potter, that's where Potter failed. It's all these, when you sign so many new players, you ain't going to gel.
But Forest
straight
at
away.
home, they seem to have be a different team at home. I don't know why that is. What is it, the home crowd? They're just more comfortable. I don't know. Yeah. But Leeds to win, right?
Leeds to win.
Okay. Another team in the news, and a team who are really in relegation form. Really.
Oh, yes.
Leicester at home to Villa.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go on this one. Leicester, very, very disappointing, losing to Palace the last time, right? They've lost 5 out of their 7 home games, and they've conceded at least 1 goal in their last 13. How is it going to affect them with Brendan Rodgers going? We spoke before about how teams, when they lose their manager, like
players
Palace,
want to prove.
Players want to show that it's the manager's their fault. It wasn't us. And if we win this game, we prove that it wasn't it was the manager's form.
Yeah.
So will there be a reaction from Leicester? We will see. But playing against a very strong Villa team at the moment, who on current form since Emery took over would be 3rd in the league.
There you go. Yeah.
They've won 4, drawn 1 of their last 5, and no goal conceded in those 4 wins. They're on the longest run without failing to score. And in the last 5 games, they've scored 9 and they've conceded only 1.
Yeah.
So they're a team on form.
Yeah, it shows you what a good manager can do. Because with all due respect to Stevie G, great player, but really was out of his depth.
Yeah.
Where Emery's proven great for his strategies and the technical know-how.
Yeah, I agree. So are we saying a Villa win on this one?
I'm actually going to go for a draw because of the factor you said, that Leicester, because on paper we've always said Leicester are better than where they are.
Sure.
And these guys will want to have a point to prove for their fans and for themselves. That, as you said, it wasn't us, it was Rodgers.
Okay.
And I think that won't be enough to get him over the line for a victory. I think they'll get a credible high-scoring draw, maybe 2-2.
Okay. Point as well, Ollie Watkins. We were saying that in the last game...
He broke the record.
He broke the record. First Villa player to score in 5 away games.
Yeah.
Good, if you're a betting man, you might put it on for 6
yes.
Against Leicester's defence. Not that I am.
Not that you are.
Okay. So, draw for you, Villa win for me.
Yes.
Okay. Then we've got into... one of the most boring games of the weekend, one of the non-events. Chelsea at home to Liverpool.
Do we need to go through this? I'll go very short. I think Chelsea, again, they got rid of a manager, so they'll have a point to prove. They'll want to show that it was Potter and his selection policies. So I'm going to go for a Chelsea victory in a game that no supporters really want to watch.
Okay.
This season can't finish quick enough for either team.
Yeah.
Neither team will get near top 4. It might be better off not even getting into Europe, to be honest, just to and rebuild and have time to rebuild on next season.
That's it. That was what we spoke about this before. When Arsenal, after the Wenger era, what built where they are now was when they're in the Europa League and were able to blood Martinelli and Saka, give all these young players game time, and Emile Smith-Rowe. I mean, that's what Liverpool need to as well. A chance to rebuild.
Forget about Bellingham. We can't afford them. Liverpool can't afford them. I shouldn't say we. Bellingham has better offers and better options, and he's got advisors saying, now your price is high. You want to be playing in the Champions League.
Okay. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes. All right, where he's going to end up.
Yeah.
There's no team kind of jumps out at the moment.
Real Madrid, I think, for me, if he seems comfortable living abroad and playing his trade abroad, I think Real Madrid would be an excellent move for him.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's true. Anyway, so interesting stat: the last 3 meetings between these teams have been 0-0.
Yeah.
Both teams are
2 of them
finding
in
it
cup
hard.
finals, to be fair.
Yeah, both of these teams are finding it hard to score goals at the moment. Liverpool only have 14 goals in 14 away games this season.
Salah's just dried up. You can see the effort on him too, though.
Yeah, 6 away games this season you failed to score, including scoreless against all 5 games against teams 12th or lower in the table. I mean, that says it all, really, you know.
Yeah.
And Chelsea misfiring as well, 0-0, I think, on this one. Because there's no real thing to play for, really. It could be a
As I say, it's only the Chelsea guys want maybe with something to prove with Potter gone.
I feel that they haven't got an identity yet together.
They don't.
That, there's nothing really. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. But I think a 0-0 or a draw maybe on this one.
Okay, so we're moving on to our Wednesday night games. We have two matches there. Man United are at home to Brentford.
Yeah. United very poor against Newcastle. And against a resurgent Newcastle, again, it must be said. Missing Casemiro and Eriksen massively, right? They look really ordinary. I mean, compared to the team who was playing so well before that. So what do you think against Brentford?
It's harder to
toss a coin, right?
I'm going to go for. I'm sitting on the fence here. I'll go for a draw. I think. Say United with Bruno Fernandes and Rashford. You've always got a goal. Potential there. But look at that defence, and I look at that defensive midfield without Casemiro and without the guile of Eriksen pulling the strings. It's very average. Fred and McTominay.
Yeah, it's like watching a Solskjaer team again, all over again. Without those players in the team, we have just coffee, so that's what we're. Excuse us.
So Brentford, anyway, have been great. They had a great game against Brighton, so they easily could win this game. Sure. But I'll sit in the fence and I'll say a draw. Yeah,
United are strong at home. They've lost 1 out of 22 home games. Rashford actually is going for a record. 18 of his this season. He's got 18 home goals. He's dried up a bit recently. The target, Rooney scored 20 in 2010, so there's a target for them there to reach. One thing to watch is that United are very weak from set pieces. Only Bournemouth have conceded more shots from set pieces than United, and Brentford are very strong in that area as well too. So they'll be looking to and De Gea is he's a great shot stopper, but.
He doesn't like crosses. He's always, you'd see him, he's in no man's land. Will I go for it? Will I hold back on the line?
Well, the defence as well, too, doesn't give him confidence.
No, and I mean, Martinez is great. Is a terrier. He's a great tackler and a fella trying to get past him. But he is vertically challenged.
Yes, true, he's not the tallest central defender.
And he got a great jump on him, but still, if you get a big guy who can do a good jump as well, we'll always beat him.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm going to go for a draw on this one as well, too. Brentford being the draw specialists as well. I think they've 13 draws this season. I think that will happen. That leads us to the last game, the midweek games. West Ham at home to Newcastle.
Okay. Do you want to take off this first?
Newcastle looked very good in the victory against United. They seem to have discovered a little bit of form again. 3 wins in a row now. Beat Forest, beat Wolves. They've only lost 1 out of 10 away games. No side has lost fewer away games than Newcastle, and they're playing against a West Ham team who are strongest at home. I mean, they beat Southampton 1-0.
They did
in a dour game.
Yeah. Southampton had their chances, to be fair. But just lack of quality.
Exactly, lack of quality. And again, up front, Danny Ings against Newcastle's defence. I think Newcastle, Willock is back on form. He likes to score. And when he's on form, he goes on runs. I just think Newcastle will have too much for them. There'll be too much hunger as well. Newcastle going for top 4.
I'd agree on that. And again, it's a bit where we said no team is really able to get a consistent run going. So West Ham, after having the win and the weekend, I just don't. I think that they'll sit back a bit. They won't push on and get the next one. And Newcastle are just playing better football. They've gone over their slump.
Yeah.
And they're on a run in. They're up to 3rd again now. They're ahead of United. So I see them pushing on. and having a good run for the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham have been poor, very poor all season, you know. And they're another team who are very much in the relegation shake-up, I think, you know.
And Moyes, irrespective of whether they survive or not, Moyes is probably another lad who'll move on at the end of the season.
I reckon so. They need someone to get more out of that team because it's a talented team with players. Just finally, because City and Arsenal are not playing this time, who do you think is going to win the Premier League with the run-in?
The smart money has to be on Arsenal. I think once you start factoring in the Bayern Munich home and away matches in the Champions League, we know where the focus is on those. You see little things like the appendicitis and the Haaland is injured or was injured.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a fake news thing.
What was the appendicitis thing?
Appendicitis, that's what Foden was out.
Foden's
He had the appendix taken out.
Okay.
So they did beat a terrible Liverpool team. It has to be said. It was embarrassing to watch the ease of their passing around. It was so slick and
even
so
when
easy.
Liverpool scored, you just felt City were in control.
Yeah, there was no redeem. In fact, only Alisson, I will say, yes, can go out of there with his reputation intact.
Yeah. One thing you speak about the Bayern Munich games, the fixtures couldn't be more kind for City though, because after the Bayern Munich game, they're playing Leicester at home, you know, and then...
Again, they're the ones that City do for that.
Yes, maybe so, yeah.
Because Leicester have something to play for.
But if you were going to pick a team away, they would be one of the teams you might pick. And the other one, the return leg, they're playing Sheffield United in the Cup. At home, so they could play some reserve team in that one.
Yeah. But even if they get through there, they'll still, which they should. You know, I think Bayern have their own issues getting rid of Neilmans or.
Arsenal's run definitely is harder. They've got to play Liverpool away in the next game,
which is a gimme 3 points at this stage.
They're playing Chelsea. They have to play Newcastle away.
Chelsea, another one. We talked about the two worst teams in the Premier League.
Yeah, Newcastle away would be a hard one.
That's a tough one.
West Ham away at London Derby. Okay, City as well. Brentford. I know City play Brentford. So I just think that Arsenal squad is a little bit thin, and when they don't have their 11 playing, they do suffer. Saliba is out.
Saliba is a loss at the moment. He's been one of your solid players in defence.
I think it's Arsenal are going to drop. I think Arsenal might drop points. It just depends on. It will come down. I think that City Arsenal game will be crucial. I think those 3 points.
Yeah, which way it's a factor of a huge. I mean, it's a must-win for City.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. That's a must-win for City.
Yeah,
and City can't afford to drop too many other points elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's going to go down to the wire. I think it's far from over yet.
No, it's definitely not over.
Yeah.
But I would be more positive from an Arsenal point of view. I think you got Jesus is back at the right time.
Yes, yeah.
And probably the January signing of the year was Trossard.
Trossard, yeah, exactly. I mean,
what an unselfish player he is.
Yeah, he's done really well since he's come on, and he's added that alternative gift to Saka. Saka got a rest at the weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah, so it's going to be very interesting as we go. Okay, everyone, that's it for today.
That's it. We'll be back on Friday or Saturday.
Friday, yeah. Until then, adios.
Strong go for.